and then to America to teach people with defective speech. And it was in his workshop
In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. He wanted to commercialize it by putting it in every American home. He offered the patent to Western Union for $100,000. Western Union's response was, why would any person want to use this ungainly and impractical device when he can send a messenger to the telegraph office and have a clear written message sent to any large city in the US? Today, there are more active mobile devices than there are people on the planet. Back in the 1970s, Steve Wozniak was working for Hewlett-Packard. He tried to get the company interested in a new personal computer he was building, but it rejected the idea and said people would never use computers in the home. Instead, he and his friend Steve Jobs went off into their garage and built it themselves. The result was Apple I. Here's another story about Apple. When we hear the story of Apple, we always hear about the two Steves, but there was a third founder of Apple who wrote the first partnership agreement, wrote the manual for the Apple I, and even drew the first Apple logo. That man was Ronald Wayne. The reason why you probably never heard of Wayne is that less than 2 weeks after founding Apple and receiving a 10% stake in the company, he sold his Apple stock for $800. He reportedly got another check later for $1,500 to forfeit any claims he had against the company going forward. Today, his stock will have been worth more than $100 billion. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was coming, he said unto them, Why make ye this idle and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entered in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. What do you do when you are surrounded by mountains? What do you do when it seems like you can't get past today? What do you do when your bills seem to overwhelm you? What do you do when you are in the front of the goalpost? What do you do when the door of opportunity opens for you? What do you do when you are at a crossroads? What do you do when the object of your affections has eyes for someone else? What do you do when you don't know what to do in 2022? It is the 23rd day of January 2022, and already problems seem to be piling up. The New Year resolutions are already forgotten as life has thrown you a curved ball. Your life has become the very definition of mission impossible. People are already running from you and avoiding your calls. They know if they simply ask, How are you? that you will download all your problems for them. So, they carefully avoid asking about your well-being. Those around you are spectators, onlookers who are watching the drama that your life is, but are unwilling to help. You might be in a situation that you are hoping on someone. He's your last resort, and he has just said he's unable to help. Desperation, disillusion, despondency, and disappointment. Imagine the situation of Jairus. He had gotten the attention of the person he believes could help his sick daughter, and just as they were on their way to his house, there was some commotion as the master asked who had touched him. At this point, Jairus was desperate for them to move as fast as possible, but he obviously couldn't voice it to Yehoshua. Why was this distraction coming at the point of his deliverance? As the clock ticked, he knew that it might be too late for his daughter. You can imagine his irritation as the woman with the issue of blood identified herself and talked about her miraculous healing. There's no time for this, he said to himself, and just then, his worst fear came to pass. They brought news from home to say his daughter had just died. Can you imagine how Jairus felt as he heard this news? He was with the only person who could help him, and yet it was too late. Abraham Graham Bell was before Western Union, who had the resources to make his dreams come true, but they laughed at his invention. Hewlett Packard shut the door against Steve Wozniak and his Apple One idea. Jairus, don't waste your time, your daughter is dead. If you were Jairus, what would you have done? Would you break down in tears and abuse Yehoshua? Would you fight the woman with the issue of blood and accuse her of being an agent of the devil? What would you do? God is merciful. God sees and knows all, and He is a master planner. He didn't give Jairus the opportunity to react, as He immediately told him, "Don't worry, don't be afraid." And Jairus was comforted. He said to himself, these people probably didn't hear well. But as they got to his house and he saw the multitudes crying and wailing, his heart sank again. But Jesus said to them, "She's merely sleeping." And they mocked him. At every point, all Jairus saw were actions and words from people around him capable of denting his faith. But at that very moment, he realized that he had just witnessed the woman with the issue of blood being healed. He now knew that what he thought was an obstacle to him was actually a faith-building moment. He boldly ushered Yehoshua into his house and received his miracle as his daughter came back to life. What is this mountain before you today? What are the obstacles around you? This problem won't consume you. It is meant to build your faith for the next problem you will face. What are you hearing? Are you listening to the crowd and friends telling you it's over, it's not possible, you're not good enough, your product or service is not nice, etc.? Shut out the noise and listen to the only one who can deliver you. You don't need a multitude on your side, you only need Jesus. You can get a million nays from the world, but it is only his yea that matters, and he has said yea. All the nays are character and faith building moments. Embrace them. Don't let fear make you miss a life-changing opportunity, just like Ronald Wayne. He believed that if the Apple business failed, the debts will be on him, and so he bailed out. People might bail out on you, but hold on to your dream. Apple is bigger than Hewlett Packard today. They held on to their dreams. God is never late. His time is always the right time. Everything that happens before his time are the seasons of life. This trial will not consume you. You will be alive tomorrow, next week, and next year, and until the time God has destined for you. No man or problem can cut short your destiny. Nigeria won't destroy you. Nigeria will make you a world champion. Nigeria will make you a faith champion. Whatever it is you're facing today, just boldly declare, this too shall pass. Your tomorrow is pregnant with opportunities. Don't give up. Just hold on, because God's Calvary is on its way. I plead the message of God over your lives. His hand of love, provision, healing, and deliverance will touch you today. Just believe. God bless you all.